I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons first. Thank you so much to my Bibliospren, Bibliohowlers, and my Bibliomancers. It means a lot to me that you give me your extra support for my passion and hobby. Hi everyone, Petak here. Today's video will be SFF Spotlight episode 40. As I mentioned in my previous episode, if possible, I do not want to wait until 2 weeks before I release the next episode, because every time I do that now, there are just way too many news to spotlight in one video. I'm talking about more than 30 news. And today's video will have about 20 news. I think that's the normal rate of news to spotlight. And well, for those of you who are new here, just as a reminder, this is a series of videos where I talk about new cover reveals, new book news, new special edition, and new noteworthy release in the adult science fiction and fantasy genre. And before I start talking about new Kickstarters and also a new special edition to spotlight, I want to mention one thing first. The first news will be about the Day of the Dragon. This has been posted by Ryan Cahill, Philip C. Quaintrell, and also Michael R. Miller. Now, I will just let you know what this is about. This is about a book discount that will take place on the 10th of October 2023. So that's tomorrow after this video is posted. So what does the Day of the Dragon means? Well, these three authors, they are Dragon Rider epic fantasy writers, and they are planning to make all of their books discounted to about, I think, $0.99 on Amazon. All of them, except maybe for Philip C. Quaintrell's. I think for Philip C. Quaintrell's, it will only be the first 3 books in the Echo Saga series, in the 9 books Echo Saga series. But for The Bound and the Broken by Ryan Cahill, and also The Songs of Chaos by Michael Miller, all books in this series, all of them will be priced at $0.99 on Amazon starting from tomorrow on the 10th of October. So if you haven't read these 3 series yet and you love Dragon Rider epic fantasy, you love classic fantasy that is told with a modern voice, then I think this is the right time for you to get these books. I mean, they are really cheap. But the Day of the Dragon is going to happen tomorrow. Let's talk about something that will happen today. By the time this video is posted, I think this Kickstarter campaign goes live now. And yes, I will start talking about Kickstarter campaigns. I have 4 Kickstarter campaigns to spotlight today. The first one will be a big one. I have mentioned this in my previous 2 episodes of SFF Spotlight. So this is about the newest epic fantasy books by Rob J. Hayes. So the Kickstarter campaign for the first 3 books in the 3 series taking place in the God Eater Saga, the Kickstarter campaign is live. Now, this means that you can get Herald, the first book in the Age of the God Eater, and then you can get Deathless, the first book in the Annals of the God Eater, and well, one more. You just have to check out the Kickstarter campaign to find out. But all of these 3 books, although they are marketed as standard hardcovers, but all 3 hardcovers do come with interior artworks, black and white interior artworks by an artist named 21. And if you are pledged to this Kickstarter campaign, you will also get this beautiful art card by Andrew Maleski. This is an art card of the Archangel Orpheus. And just as a reminder, this is a trilogy of trilogies. In total, there will be 9 books long. This Kickstarter campaign is to fund the first phase of the God Eater Saga, the first book in the 3 series taking place in the series called the God Eater Saga. And this is the start of a fantasy saga where humans gain magic and immortality by devouring angels. I absolutely love the symbolic cover art done by Ashper and also designed by Sean King. I think if you love epic fantasy, if you love ambitious and sprawling epic fantasy, I think you should check out the Kickstarter campaign. And remember, this is for 3 books in 1 campaign. And the next Kickstarter campaign to spotlight will be something published by Wraithmarked in collaboration with Daniel Greene. This is for a classic titled War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. So this Kickstarter campaign will be the first out of hopefully many classic book being given the deluxe special edition treatment by Wraithmarked and also Daniel Greene. The cover art to War of the Worlds will be done by Piotr Cieslinski, and then there will be 10 interior artworks by Sue. And also, that's not all. There will be a foreword by Evan Winter, the author behind The Rage of Dragons and also The Fires of Vengeance, the Burning series. So Daniel Greene has talked about this in his video, but the purpose of this Kickstarter campaign is to show that we readers are often pretty much robbed by traditional publishers when it comes to special edition. Every time they talk about special edition, but the special edition itself is not really something special. It's just like the bare minimum. And now Daniel Greene, the purpose of this Kickstarter campaign, and I think many more in the future, is to show a good example of what a special deluxe edition should be. This Kickstarter campaign is live now and it is of course funded already. I highly recommend you to check out this Kickstarter campaign if you love War of the Worlds, and also if you want to support Wraithmarked and also Daniel Greene's endeavor in making more beautiful special editions. And moving on to the next Kickstarter campaign, this will be again hosted by a booktuber, Dominish Books. So this is The Advent of Winter. This Kickstarter campaign will compile 24 short stories by 24 self-published fantasy authors, and also it will come with a one unique advent calendar. This Kickstarter campaign hasn't gone live yet, but if you are interested in this one, make sure to check out the link I posted in the description down below, and then you can click notify me, and then you will be notified when the Kickstarter campaign has gone live. And the same goes to the next and the last Kickstarter campaign I want to spotlight today. This will be for the Kingdom of Dragons by Jet Herne. Similar to the God Eater Saga by Rob J. Hayes, this Kickstarter campaign is to fund the funding of the hardcover edition of the Kingdom of Dragons. The cover art is done by Yatsu Matsuoka, and also there will be interior artworks inside this hardcover. So that's it on the topic of Kickstarter campaign. Now I want to talk about some special editions. And well, because I was speaking about dragons earlier in the Kingdom of Dragons by Jet Herne, now the next special edition is published by The Broken Binding. And yes, this is the third title in the Broken Binding press, meaning this is a special edition, a special deluxe edition of a self-published fantasy book. The first one, just as a reminder, it was for Of Blood and Fire, and the second one, it was for Illborn by Daniel T. Jackson. Now the third one has been revealed, and it is again another dragon fantasy. It is for The Iron Crown by L.L. Macrae. The cover art is done by Felix Ortiz. There will be 4 full-color interior artworks done by Isa Illustrations, and also the naked hardcover will be done by Katrina Paints. This one, I haven't read the book yet, but I have heard a lot of great things about The Iron Crown and also the sequel, The Shadow Gates, and I will certainly make sure to read this book as soon as I can. I have to say though, this one is a beautiful edition of the Broken Binding press. It might just end up being their best one so far, but who knows, we still have The Fall coming really soon. The Fall by Ryan Cahill, the prequel novella in the Bound and the Broken series, and we all know just how many artworks that book will have. Well, we will see the final results of The Fall and also The Iron Crown by L.L. Macrae. And I want to congratulate L.L. Macrae for being chosen by The Broken Binding to be given the deluxe hardcover treatment edition of the Broken Binding press. As I said in the first 2 publications of the Broken Binding press, I think the Broken Binding press will only get bigger and bigger as the time goes by. They are doing a lot of great things recently, and this is not an exception. I mean, publishing such a beautiful and deluxe hardcover edition of self-published fantasy books. But The Iron Crown is for their publication of the Broken Binding press, and that's not all from the Broken Binding. They have announced another special edition, and this will be for The Art of Destiny by Wesley Chu. This is the sequel to The Art of Prophecy, and once again the cover art is done by Tran Nguyen. It's such a beautiful cover art. I think it looks even better compared to the first book. I still haven't read the War Art Saga series. I plan to make this trilogy a priority trilogy to tackle in the year 2024, because I believe the third and the final book will be released in the year 2024. But for now, I think this special edition looks really nice. Do note that this one doesn't have any interior artworks. This one have a beautiful spray edges, naked hardcovers, and also, just like Art of Prophecy, it will be signed as well. I look forward to reading this trilogy and also owning the Art of Destiny special edition. And moving on to the next special edition to spotlight, this one isn't published by The Broken Binding. This one is published by Anderida Books. So some of you might know about this, but this is for The Dregs of Empire and Other Stories by Christopher Ruocchio. This is the third collection of short stories and novellas, the third special edition collection published by Anderida Books. The first one was The Lesser Devil and Other Stories. The second one was Queen Amid Ashes and Other Stories, and this is the third one. Once again, the cover art is done by the amazing Kieran Yenner. I think Kieran is one of the best cover artists to ever exist, really. I love everything that he does for the Sun Eater series, and this is, of course, another great example of it. Note that this is a special edition though. It is a special and limited edition, so it might be difficult to get a copy of this one. I know that a lot of die-hard fans of the Sun Eater will be fighting to get a copy of Dregs of Empire and other stories published by Anderida Books. I don't even own The Lesser Devil and other stories, and also Queen Amid Ashes and other stories. So I have no idea whether I will be able to attain this one or not, but I love the cover art. Once again, having this kind of art appearing is just really good. It seems like Gollancz is on fire lately, because after the Lies of Lok Lamora special edition announcement, Gollancz has announced their own special edition for The Name of the Wind and also The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. The first two books in the Kingkiller Chronicle, and they look absolutely gorgeous. The cover artist and also the end paper, all of them are done by Michaela Alcaino, one of the best artists, and this time she did an incredible job on this beautiful special edition. I mean, just take a look at the woodcut style and papers and foil stamp cover boards and printed edges and ribbon and more. And these numbered hardbacks will be signed and limited to 1,000 copies, and you can start pre-ordering now on their websites. So if you're a fan of the Kingkiller Chronicle and you feel like you are in need of a new special edition of the series, then make sure to do it as soon as possible. I do not think this will last long. And moving on to the next one, I still have two more special edition to spotlight. The second one will be for a Folio Society. Folio Society just announced their winter collection for their special edition, and one of them is actually Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert. So their edition of Dune is one of their best-selling special edition in their collection of books. That and also a Game of Thrones, I think. And also Howl's Moving Castle. Yes, those three are the ones that I heard about the most. And also, finally, after a long time, finally Folio Society has announced there will be a continuation to Dune Special Edition, Dune Folio Society Edition, and that's Dune Messiah. The cover art and interior artworks this time is not done by Sam Weber, but I think it still looks pretty good. So if you are a fan of the Dune series, this might be something to look forward to. And finally, the last special edition to spotlight today will be for the Illumicrate edition for Empire of the Dam by J. Kristoff. And yeah, I think it looks pretty nice. It will match the first Illumicrate edition of Empire of the Vampire, meaning that the cover art will be white and also the foiling will be done in gold. And Empire of the Dam is one of my most anticipated book of 2024. I look forward to reading it, and the cover art done by Kirby Rosales. Once again, well, it looks stunning. Everything done by Kirby Rosales always looks so good, and I hope more publishers will try to commission him into doing more cover art in the fantasy and the sci-fi landscape. So that's a wrap on the section on a special edition and Kickstarter campaign. Now, before I talk about cover reveals and novelty release, I want to spotlight two things, and these are manga to anime adaptation. The first one is regarding Pluto by Naoki Urasawa. A new trailer for the anime adaptation of Pluto has been posted, and it looks fantastic. I love Pluto. It is one of my favorite stories by Naoki Urasawa. That, monsters, and you know, the 20th Century Boys, the trifecta of great stories by Naoki Urasawa. Everything I have seen from the anime trailer, everything looks like it will do justice to the manga. The artwork matches the manga, the animation moves really smoothly, and well, I cannot wait for this one. This is one of my most anticipated anime of this year, and it will be out really soon. And the next manga to anime adaptation to spotlight will be for something published by Studio Trigger. So this one will be for Delicious in Dungeon. The manga is done by Ryoko Kui. And I haven't read this one, but I heard that if you love D&D, you love cooking, you love wholesome and also a cozy manga or feel-good manga and anime, you cannot go wrong with reading Delicious in Dungeon. And well, I love everything published by Studio Trigger, so there is a really good chance I will end up liking this one as well. And yes, the first official trailer for this one is out now. And now let's move on to talking about cover reveals. I have 6 new cover art to spotlight today. The first one will be for The Slain Divine by David Dalglish. This is the 3rd book in the Vagrant Gods trilogy. The cover art, just like the previous 2 books in the trilogy, is once again illustrated by Chase Stone, and it is designed by Lauren Panepinto. I think out of all the 3 books in the trilogy, I think Slain Divine has the best cover art of the 3. I have read only the 1st book, and I really need to continue reading this trilogy as soon as I can before David Dalglish release his newest books, I think next year in 2024. And yeah, Slain Divine will be released in January 2024. So that's about 3 months from now, less than 3 months from now. Based on the first book, if you love coming of age story and also training montage and also an assassin in a group of fun family trying their best to execute his revenge, well, you cannot go wrong with trying The Vagrant Gods. And the next cover reveal I want to spotlight will be for a Thailand-inspired fantasy novel. This will be a debut novel, and the title of this one is The Last Fire Hunter by Salini Goldenberg. I think the cover art looks incredible. It immediately grabbed my attention. I mean, there is this beautifully illustrated dragon in the cover art, and I really like the vivid colors portrayed in the artwork. This one will be published by Angry Robots in the year 2024, and I look forward to reading this dark fantasy novel, dark fantasy debut novel. And of course, I have to mention the cover art is done by Ilya Nazarov. I think the artist did a great job on this cover art. But this is not the only cover art with the dragon I want to spotlight. Well, the next one doesn't actually have a dragon in the cover art, but this is a Dragon Rider epic fantasy. And yes, I'm talking about the fourth and the penultimate installment in the Bound and the Broken series by Ryan Cahill. Yes, the cover art to this one has been revealed, and I think it looks stunning. I think this one, out of the main books, is my favorite cover art in the series so far. Not counting the Broken Binding Press edition, of course, because I would prefer that one immediately, especially for their edition of the fall. But excluding the cover art of the Broken Binding Press edition, this one with a lion in the cover art, it is my favorite in the series so far, and I love the color purple being implemented into it. The cover art is done by Stuart Bache, and well, I look forward to adding that into my collection here. And you might ask me about the release date for Of Empires and Dust. Well, Ryan Cahill has mentioned there is a good possibility that it will be released in the year 2024, probably in the middle or at the third quarter of the year 2024. So Ryan, if you're watching this, chop chop, get to writing really fast. The Bound and the Broken is definitely a Dragon Rider epic fantasy, and I think the same can be assumed for the next one I want to spotlight. And the title of this one is Dragon Rider by Taran Mataru. And yeah, I have no doubt that this one will be a Dragon Rider epic fantasy. I mean, the title is very telling enough. But this is the UK cover art done by Holly MacDonald. The US cover art is done by Bastien de Harm, but this is the UK cover art. I really love the design on this one because it features a white color. I tend to love having a hardcover with a white background, and this one I think looks really good. This one will be published by Harper Voyager in the year 2024. I haven't read anything by Taran Mataru yet. I know that he is famous for his work on the Summoner series, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this will actually be his first adult fantasy work. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one. So that's it on cover art with Dragon Rider. I think lately Dragon Rider and cozy fantasy and also romantasy are really booming in the fantasy landscape at the moment. And well, the next one is of course cozy fantasy and romantasy in one. This is Spell Shop by Sarah Batters with a beautiful cover art by Lulu Chen. I have read only one book by Sarah Batters. The title of that one is Erase the Sand. It is such a great standalone novel about motherhood, and I think I have to pick up this one too eventually. It depends on how pivotal and how heavy the romance in the book is, but I definitely wouldn't mind a cozy fantasy written by Sarah Batters, and the cover art is really charming in my opinion. And now moving on to the final cover reveal I want to spotlight today. This will be for With a Golden Sword by Rachel Aaron, the author behind Heartstrikers, DFZ Changeling, and way too many books and series. Rachel Aaron has written a lot of books, and I have read only, I think, the Heartstriker series by her. The Heartstriker is the first series taking place in the same world as DFZ and also DFZ Changeling. Chronologically, it is the first out of the three. I haven't read DFZ yet. I also haven't read DFZ Changeling, and this is With the Golden Sword is the second book in the DFZ Changeling trilogy. The cover art is once again illustrated by Louisa Preisler, just like all the cover art that she has done for Rachel Aaron or beyond that. I think everything done by Louisa Preisler always catch my attention. I have no idea when I will read this one with the Golden Sword. I have to read a DFZ trilogy first. Once I'm done with that, I think I will dive into DFZ Changeling, assuming that I love reading DFZ, of course. I had a lot of great time reading the urban fantasy series Heartstrikers after all. And now we move on to the final section of SFF Spotlight. It is time to talk about noteworthy release. And I have two books to spotlight. The first one is Starling House by Alix Harrow. This is, again, another standalone book by Alix Harrow. I have read the 10,000 Doors of January and also The Once and Future Witches. I enjoyed both of them. I also read the popular short story The Six Deaths of Sin, and I can safely say that I enjoyed everything written by Alix Harrow, and I think I have to pick up this book as well, especially because Starling House apparently have interior artworks illustrated by Rowena Kai. Rowena Kai is one of my favorite artists, and well, on top of wanting to read more standalone books by Alix Harrow, I also want more books with an artwork or interior artworks done by Rowena Kai. And finally, just like the previous episode, the last topic and the last noteworthy release to spotlight today will be again for the fourth Secret Project novel by Brandon Sanderson. So if you are watching this video on the 10th of October, so that's tomorrow from the time this video is posted, then, well, the official ebook of The Sunlit Man, the fourth Secret Project novel by Brandon Sanderson, is out now. And yes, this is the same edition as the ebook that we Kickstarter backers get. And well, I haven't read The Sunlit Man yet. I know, it is one of my most anticipated read, but at the same time, if possible, I want to wait for the physical copy before reading this one. I want to savor the last Secret Project novel and I want to experience it in the physical book, which I have paid for. Once I have the physical copy in my possession, I will start The Sunlit Man immediately. So that's it. That's the end of SFF Spotlight episode 40. Let me know, do you like the news that I spotlighted today, and what do you think about the quantity of news that I spotlighted today? Do you prefer it to be about this amount, or do you prefer, like usual, to be about 30 topics? So yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me today. As always, do let me know what you think about all the news that I spotlighted today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and as always, thank you so much for watching and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.